All right, guys. This is a 2006 Yamaha Wolverine 450 four-wheel drive. This is the second generation of the Wolverine ATV line. It came in a 350 two-wheel drive, which is an air-cooled motor, or a 450 liquid-cooled four-wheel drive. Very much the same as like the Rhinos, Grizzlies, and Kodiaks, but this is the more sportier model. As you can see, this thing is pretty rough. I am currently working to peel off all this paint to get back down to original, but the original color of this front bumper is white. So it's been painted black, green, and orange. But this is all brake fluid doing this work. Same here. I've just been slowly stabbing away at it, kind of doing an experiment to see what would work the best. But brake fluid is the cheapest. It will get the job done, but you're going to have to be doing several different coats. So yeah, plastic wise, kind of the same thing. Surprisingly, the brake fluid is not eating away as good. Up here, I even kind of pulled it up kind of right here, and I guess you can see it's starting to bubble, but not working fast enough. So we'll take care of that later on in this video. Didn't have headlights. That's the same headlights as YZ450, so I had a set laying around, threw them on. Biggest complaint was that it only went 28 miles an hour. The guy was like, oh yeah, that's normal, that's the top speed. It's not. What was happening was the weights inside the primary here were all caked up, gunked up, so they wouldn't extend all the way. And you can actually see where the belt was stuck. So it would only go up to about there when it needed to continue, you know, coming all the way out. So I actually got a whole new primary setup. This is called a clutch cam. It was pretty well pitted, or pitted may not be the right word, but gouged. So that has a ramp to it, just where those rollers were kind of stuck. So needed a new one of those, and these were $40. That whole kit right there was $4.55, something like that, off of Amazon. I understand that it may be less quality parts, but I'm willing to give it a shot. At the end of the day, I might just take that cam out and go back together with the old stuff, but came with the weights, everything like that. I'm willing to try it out, that's for sure. So these were the old weights. I mean, that's how nasty it was. So if you're having a problem with the Ultramatic, only going a certain speed where you used to be able to go faster, definitely check out your primary, pull it apart, just take that nut off, take those out, pull it apart. It's all caked up, gunked up, you know, looking like that there. That's probably your issue. Your weights aren't expanding as far as they should. So I'm gonna get this all buttoned back up, make sure that she extends all the way out, and then we're gonna work on cleaning up these plastics. All right, so once you got your primary back on, that nut's like 100 foot-pounds-ish, tighten her down. Put your belt on the primary first, loop it around, spin it, then take out your hold-down bolts that you use to depress the springed secondary plate. And then it's gonna look kind of sloppy, kind of loose. Just spin her around, and she will work herself up and into that groove again. And that's how she should look like. Have some good tension to it. All right, so I am back together and loaded up on the trailer because we're going to go to the car wash. A TikTok viewer said to use oven cleaner, and I think it's working. That used to be a pretty vibrant green, now it's kind of dingy. And that's a weaker. I just scraped that with my finger. So, and then sprayed the aluminum cover there, hoping that it takes it the rest of the way back off. But as for the plastics, I'm gonna use aircraft stripper. I did spray it on the engine too, the engine cleaner that is. God, I keep saying that, the oven cleaner, to see if it kind of brings back that aluminum. So we'll see there, little experiment. But this takes a little bit to set up, but that's also why I brought it onto the trailer before I spray it. So we'll see how it turns out. Aircraft stripper has been applied. It's already starting to peel up pretty good. Trying to show you that texture there. Just hoping for the best that it just knocks this black off. If it etches or ruins these plastics, I'm not too worried about it. I have a plan if that happens. And I mean, the oven cleaner is working really well on the metal. Just leaning up against it, and then all the vibrant green, you can kind of see the difference in the greens there. Hoping for the best there. If this does not knock all the colors off of it, I'm gonna pull the bumper off anyways, clean it up real good, but everything else will most likely just get black paint. So use some engine enamel, some durable stuff there. So hoping that it just weakens it real well and go from there. Did spray the differential, just hoping to take it down to aluminum like it should. Hope for the best. Try to clean this thing up. I love these things. I've always wanted one. Finally got this one stupid cheap. So yeah, hoping for the best. Tires are next. I like the wheels, obviously, but yep. Well, let's see what happens here. Well, I wouldn't say she's white again. Kind of looks like if I needed some milk from my cereal, I could walk out to her and give her a pull. But oven cleaner definitely takes stuff down to bare metal. So just keep that in mind. It is cheaper. I'd say this is probably round 1 of 3. But it's getting better. Got to keep working at it. Well, it is 12 degrees outside this weekend, and so that means no paint removal going on today, at least on the plastics. Going to be focusing on the front components. I have new ball joints on the way, new CV axle, new tie rod ends. I'm going to be replacing the brake caliper with YFZ calipers. It says it's supposed to be direct fit, and it is a 2-piston caliper. Helps this thing stop. One complaint with the Wolverines is that the braking is kind of weak. Luckily enough, the 450s have a disc on the front, and then one on the rear. Kind of hard to see in there, but just a single disc over there on the left wheel. But with it being an automatic, you do have a lot of engine braking, but get that fixed up. I have an extra set of 450 calipers, so might as well get these control arms off. The bushings are fine. The ball joints have play, but while they're off, going to get them painted up, looking nice, and replace everything to make it solid. Get this front bumper off. I'll give it a good update as well. I don't know if I'm going to go back white or black. The front end will be black. Almost forgot the new tires did come in. Got those mounted up. These are Wanda Bighorn. They're a knockoff from the actual maker of Bighorns. I can't remember who that is, but either way, same tread pattern. They are a little bit weaker. I believe these are 4-ply, where the actual Bighorns are 6. But these had better reviews than the Sun F tires. That's what it looks like on the bike. Got new lug nuts coming as well, as these were painted at one time, and I couldn't find these, and then I did. So if you're ever looking for lug nuts that look like that, these are made by Moose. I could not find them. Ordered a different set, and then I found them. But that's okay. These are 17 millimeter. That's a little bit snug to try to get a socket in there. Again, hard to see. I understand. Sorry about it. So I went with 14. A little bit easier. Oh, and I have new wheel bearings as well, because you can't really, well, yeah, hard to see, but there is some good movement in there as well. Now let's get to it. Ripped boots on all of them. And the wheel bearing, pretty rusty. So, need it replaced. We're gonna make it look pretty anyhow. Well, I just realized I will be taking off the plastics at least at some point. The bushing that holds the steering stem to the frame has play, and then replacing the bearing down here where it goes into the frame. Got the knuckle here blown apart. To pop out these bearings, they have this little like spacer in the middle there. What you want to do is just try to find the lip of it. Obviously, when it's on this side, just use a pry bar or a good screwdriver to kind of make an indent, and then you can just take a hammer and drive it out. I did heat mine up, the knuckle up just a little bit, and use some penetrating oil just to kind of get her in there. And I get the backside first just because typically you can get it up off the face of it. And then got to do the same thing, get it up in the air just a little bit and start driving it out. So just like that there, got to finish driving it the rest of the way out. Doing it on a flat, steady, secure surface is the best. And just like that, couple taps, brings it out. I'm gonna get that ball joint out off of there. A little snap ring, and then it should drive out. And then get this guy cleaned up. I do have the lower control arm here in the paint booth. I sanded it down and gave it a shot of tractor enamel. It's pretty strong stuff, fast drying, can stick to just about anything. If that's not durable enough, we'll see what I need to do. And then it comes out looking like that, with the new bearing seal installed, you know, and you might be saying, hey, that's a new part. It's not. There's the left side. That's the right side. Just after a good sandblasting, and then just some ceramic clear coat to give it kind of that shiny, wet look. Just a little bit protecting, try not to dull it out. Also went ahead and sanded the front hub, and then that is aluminum enamel. Just wanted to make it stand out a little bit. These are the aluminum like headlight brackets. The plastics also bolt to the top there. Just ran those through, gave them a quick kind of scuff with some steel wool, and then same thing, clear coat enamel. I'm going to be putting on YFZ 450 calipers. There's a before and after. That also has the ceramic clear coat on it. Again, just gives it that kind of shiny, wet look. And then also protects it, hopefully not to make it kind of age like that. Sandblasted the bolts. Those are the before and then after. That's the right side. Those are the left, obviously, except for that one. Those are the left control arms. I got them kind of sprayed them with oven cleaner last night before I went inside. This is the next day. This took pretty much all day to get those sandblasted. Cleaned up the shock, got as much orange, I guess there's a little bit there, got as much orange as I could, just freshen up the bottom there. Tore off this other side, currently working on getting the tie rods out as I have new ends. That bushing, or the bearing in there, is either bad or they just don't have it tight. All the weight is off of the front end now, so I can't really do much. And then there's some slop in the steering stem bushing as well, so I'm going to pull that out. I'm going to see what the difference is between this steering stem and that extra Hauser one I have. That's for a Raptor or YFZ 450. I'm just going to see what the overall difference is. This one, just looking at it, looks a lot shorter. So, but yeah, so the part of this boot did not come out, or sorry, part of the CV axle did not come out. That's the one that was clicking and broken. So I gotta give that a tug, but right now it's keeping all the oil in, so I'm gonna leave it until I'm ready to go. Old calipers are still on there. Got to get those off, get those 451s back on. But I'm still waiting on ball joints. Tomorrow is Monday, President's Day, so USPS won't be running. So I got to wait till Tuesday. I think FedEx is running though, so I should get my new lug nuts. But that'll give me time to swap those two old tires out, get those on as well. So let's get those off and then get new links on. All right, for maybe that one person out there who has not done tie rod ends before, I went ahead and just sprayed some spray paint there to indicate where these were threaded into. This thing drove pretty straight, so this is pretty accurate. This will be your alignment. You can use like nail polish or Sharpie or something like that. I just had some spray paint sprayed in there. It coats it real well, and then I'll be able to take it right off. Okay, so that there is your jam nut. Mine just happens to be 19, and then you'll want to get a wrench or something just to hold it, and you can actually bust these loose while they're still on the bike, and I probably should have, but turn that, get that free. And I guess you also, to mark your threads, you can just leave the jam nut on there if it's in good condition. That one is. So I'm going to make less work for myself and just leave it. So get your replacements here. And again, one of these is going to be reverse thread, one's not. And just comparing here, it looks like these are just a little bit longer just by eyeballing it. Just a tad bit longer, so I won't want to run it down. See if this is the right one. See how that one says L? It's probably the other one, huh? Look at that, R. So I won't want to run it down all the way tight. Probably right, maybe one more thread. Right there. Butt up that jam nut. So that one faces up, that one faces down. That's why you want to do these one at a time. And then tighten up the jam nut. Just like that. Then you're ready to go. Back on and in. Now I was trying to show you this earlier. A lot of up and down play there on the steering shaft. I tried tightening the nut there, and she is all the way tight. That is a little tiny cotter pin though, so I don't think that bolt is all the way up, and maybe they're missing a washer. So I will be pulling it, see what's going on. The stems should just pull out, but look how nasty. Yeah. I think she needed a replace. Maybe a long time ago. See if we can't just... Already got the bottom one out. Whoo-hoo. I think somebody was trying to get it out. That's pretty bad. Well, I will try to give you guys a good view of the sandblasting process. I know you guys probably couldn't see much, but this is the Final result here, this is raw aluminum. I don't want to touch it with my greasy fingers because then the grease kind of sticks to it. I got it washed with, I just use Sprayway glass cleaner. It's alcohol based and it takes off a bunch of grease and stuff. And I'm just going to hit it with some engine enamel gloss clear with ceramic. Pretty heavy duty stuff. And just like that, nah, it's a little dirty right there, but that's okay. Gives it character. But it just gives it that wet, glossy look. And that does stay for the most part. It just gives that raw aluminum something to protect it. Something that, you know, when you're washing it, it can help. So let's do this next. So that's the before. And then this is after the sandblast. Cleaned it up a little bit. And hit it with some aluminum in a can. Well, the time has come. Is that thing going to come out or not? I did heat it up pretty good and spray it with some rust penetrant. It looks better than what it did when I first discovered it, so for the best. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one-handed or not. Alright, you guys get the bird's eye view here. I have a feeling I'm just going to rotate. As I was saying, I have a feeling I'm just going to rotate the bike. Make sure she's all the way down in there too. Make sure she's fully seated. And survey says, oh, yep, she's stuck. Okay. Cheater pipe. Alright, since I know it's going to be a little bit of a bugger, I'm going to heat her up again. I'm using a very thin piece of metal as a cheater pipe. See how this goes. Hey Yamaha, fuck you and this stupid ass nut bearing hold down thing for your goddamn steering stems. Them threads are fucked, but it'll take a new bearing and I'll weld that sumbitch in if I have to. Alright, I was able to get it out. I had to use an air hammer and I just beat on it until she finally gave way. Going back together here, as you can see, everything just bolted right back up. It was real clean. I'm very happy with it. You got to grind down a little bit of the guard right there at the, you can see at the top there. Pretty common if you do the 450 swap on anything. Starting to look like a machine again. Really happy with how it's turning out. That enamel paint's holding up great. Trying to get her washed down, get her clean. Look at this thing now, guys. It looks like a almost completely different machine. Plastic wise, so I went through numerous products. trying to find the one that would strip these plastics from that black spray paint and leave me with a decent surface with kind of minimal effort. Still have a little bit down there in the corners and stuff, and actually these are fairly dirty. It's been sitting outside for a while. That black spray paint did stain a lot of it. But what I found, stitch a strip. That right there. I don't know why I didn't start from the get-go. It's relatively cheap. I did have to use, you know, half of it, if not more, for this whole machine, but it is a very large machine with a lot of plastic. But yeah, so just applied that with a paintbrush, took some trash bags, laid the trash bag over it to keep kind of the fumes in, peeled it off. I went to the car wash, and really, they came out quite good. Like I said, they are stained in a few spots. A couple suggestions I had was like the Magic Eraser really rejuvenates the white, they say, so I'm going to have to try that. Other than that, I ordered these Scotch-Brite pads off of Amazon. It came with the wheel that attaches to a drill as well. Red, green, and gray. Red, I believe, worked the best, and green was just a little bit too abrasive. And put that on there, and I used like bathroom scrub bleach because they're white, and used that just kind of as a like a buffing compound, and just went back and forth, and it really cleaned it up to the point where I'm satisfied with it. I'm gonna clean up the back here. I gotta pull that off and paint it anyways, but yeah, get that. Got the exhaust back on here, got it painted, cleaned up the heat shields, and did some ceramic clear coat on those. And I was lucky enough to find a very, very nice OE tailpipe here. As you can see here, the one that was on there was a cobbled together mess. I thought maybe it was an aftermarket one for it. It definitely was not. So yeah, I did use some Alumabrite, cleaned up the aluminum engine block, cylinder, and head. Just made it look not so dingy. Like that there. Hopefully it'll allow me to see if there's any leaks or anything. I haven't even been on like a full test ride with this thing yet. Just around the yard and make sure that the YFZ calipers work, which they do. This tire rotates really well. This one has a little bit of rolling resistance. You don't feel it when you're out riding around. I think maybe just the tolerances in the bearing is just a little tight. Hopefully after a good ride, it'll loosen up. Painted the grill here. Had to be spray paint. I know I just spent like hours on spray painting this thing, but unfortunately, these are not produced anymore. No aftermarket company makes any. So I cleaned it up the best I could. Hit it with that same enamel with a little bit of clear coat. And it's a 50-footer. You know, it's a block of mow. Looked good from a block of mow away. So for this machine, it'll work. The wife likes it, so that's what matters. Paint's still holding up pretty good. Still shiny. Surface rust just from being out in the elements and stuff. It is what it is when you got limited space because, you know, someday projects. But really, I'm on the home stretch here. Got to get the gas tank cover back on, obviously. And back left wheel leaks air. Got to figure out where that's coming from and fix it. The front right, the valve stem was bad. But, and then paint this up. It is painted black from the factory. All the stripper I was using stripped that black paint, so I'll get it fixed back up. And wrapping this up, I forgot about that. So I have to get one of those coming. And then the cork here, it's the coolant overflow tank. I got one coming as well. You can see where I've been cleaning it up and stuff. Looks pretty good. Some dirt still left on there. I wasn't able to pressure wash it right away, so I will have to do that. There's kind of the residual. And these plastics, they got gouges in them. I think they had white house paint on it at one time, just brushed on there because buffing it, all that comes off. So just kind of a thick coat, but still fires right up every time. It's a good running machine. Just needed some TLC and love and weld. Hadn't seen that before. And then it's got this aluminum skid plate that somebody made. I need to take it off for, obvious reasons. So, home stretch on this thing. Home stretch. And I did order a genuine Yamaha throttle here, mainly because it did come with the 4-wheel drive button, which, as you can see, we're pretty worn out there. But it broke off there, and I was looking. The aftermarket ones, it kept saying it was for like a Kodiak, and the plug, well, now that I'm actually looking at it, I can't remember if it's a 4 plug on the Kodiaks or a 6 like this. I didn't want to take the chance, and plus throttle, I'd rather have it last, so I paid real money, like 135 bucks came with that. Man, for 135 bucks, you'd think it'd come with the bottom. You'd think it'd come with the bottom cap, but it does not. So that's kind of frustrating. So we'll have to rob that one. It is what it is. I got to get new grips for it. I keep forgetting. And yeah, and then plug everything back in. So I wasn't going to show you guys this, but I'm changing the oil, and it had a Yamaha oil filter on it, and I was like, that's pretty surprising for who I got this from. The spray paint should be obvious why. You would assume that they'd use the cheapest, whatever, O'Reilly's, that sort of thing. And I noticed the oil, don't mind the dirt, but she's pretty black. And still smells like oil, so that's good. But then I was like, man, I wonder when the last time they changed this was. Well, like I showed you, it had this homemade aluminum washing machine skid plate. And pretty much where all that mud is where the drain, the oil drain is. As you can see, there's no access hole. I have a good feeling that they have never changed this oil. So that's cool. I guess they spent all their money on spray paint, but fun stuff. I did do a compression test just while I was changing the spark plug, and it has, 155 to 160 60 psi with wide open throttle, which is pretty darn good. I think it was like 15 without, so definitely within spec, which I like to see. And don't forget, cool. That's some like the tin foil on your oil. That's what that is. That's some metal. Well, what I was gonna say is, don't forget that it's a spring oil plug. Warriors have these as well, but they when you get that last thread off, they like to shoot out, and you can really make a mess. And yeah, that's how black it was. I am sorry to this engine for that I ever even ran you. So let me get it flushed and get some new oil in this thing. I'll probably end up doing this after one ride, or I'll probably end up changing the oil again after one ride just to help clean this thing out. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, the final product. Took this, turned it into that. Very, very happy about this one. Like I've stated throughout this thing, I have wanted a Wolverine for quite some time. It's one of Yamaha's lesser known quads. Only making the 4-wheel drive version here, or this style, that is, 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, from 06 to 2010. Not a lot were made in 2010, but I've always wanted one. finally have one. My wife's gonna ride it. We'll be doing a test ride video, kind of the maiden voyage, here a little bit later. Hopefully later on this month or maybe into May. But yeah, really like how this one came out, but the video would not be complete without a test ride. So that was what we were going to do. Fires right up every time. I'll go down a bit. Not saying she's 100% perfect, but she's a hell of a lot better than where she was. Oh. Uh-oh. Didn't have the gas on. Ran her out. There's that 450 caliper. All you got to do is trim just a little bit of the rock guard. Just right there. Right there. Not that bad. Everything looks good. Let me zoom you back out there. Everything looks nice. Everything's nice and tight. Turns really well. Now that I got the gas on, let's go for a test ride. I haven't really ridden this thing much. Yeah, and this button is see, very, yep, right there. Might have to get that fixed. Well, my alignment's not perfect. Handlebars are a little bit that way. She's got some pep to her. One thing I do like, the rear brake is actually on the handle and the foot. So it's kind of nice to kind of have both. So that's rear, that's front. And I kind of like using that one more than the foot. The foot one's kind of hard to get to. I hope you guys can see that. Kind of hard to get to, but that's right there. Then, oh, hi Wasp. So then 4-wheel drive, it's just that button there. Then take it out. Haven't been able to pop a wheelie on it yet. But like I said, pretty good running quad. Fires right up. I do got to recover the seat there, and it has smoked every now and then. It was smoking pretty good the other night, and I can't tell if it was just that fresh oil in there, maybe burning off residual, because now it's not doing it, and it's done that before. I don't know, hard to tell. Might be doing the top end here sooner or later. Looks like I gotta correct the alignment. Like I said, the handlebars were kind of that way, so I will need to lengthen that one, shorten that one to get her to come back that way. Little alignment for it. I can't even tell you if the rear brake light works. It's broken, but I'm not gonna be able to see that. But so tail light, probably new multifunction switch for her. But I like it. I like it a lot. All right, guys, that'll do it for this one. Appreciate everybody sticking around to the very end here if you made it this far. Because you made it this far, sneak peek of the next project here. It's a bare frame 450, doesn't even have a front end. We're going to put an engine into it that didn't come from the factory with it. So stay tuned for that one. Should be a fun one. I've never done it, so we will be learning together and going from there. All right, appreciate everybody. Catch you on the next one. Keep between the ditches, unless that's where you intend to go, because sometimes they're a little fun to ride in.